there is a 5-match ODI series that starts with the first match in Hyderabad. So 2-day break and then there. So it's India versus Australia. That's the first ODI in Hyderabad. That's happening on the 2nd of March. That's Saturday. So of course we're going to be here with you on that. And I mean, it's still fair to say that India still go in as favourites. I mean, forget the last couple of results. I mean, India will still go in as favourites after the tour that has happened in Australia.
Yeah, you would say that, especially in the conditions that you're playing in. But having said that, you got to play your best side as well. Only then India is the favourite. I mean, exactly. It's not any 11 people who turn up for India. If you have your best 11 that India has, they will certainly be favourites.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at the squad because there's a couple of changes, but this is only the squad for the first 2 ODIs. Keep in mind, Bhuvi will join the team for the next 3. So there you go.
Shami.
What are the changes? You've got Shami who's coming. There's no Dinesh Karthik. There's no Shubman Gill. Feel bad for him, but his time will come, I'm sure. There's no Hardik Pandya because he's got a lower back strain, so he sat out. And Jadeja, who was not picked, makes it to the squad. So there you go. Bumrah, of course, is there as well. This is, it's a solid squad. The 11 is who's the 11 you're picking? The combination,
and that's the problem that you have now. You know, you look at that squad and anybody can play because you got Rohit and Shikhar, but you can have Rahul play because the way he's batted at the top. Virat is undisputed there at 4. Raidu, you've got Rishabh, Dhoni and Kedar Jadhav. Any one of them can play at that number. Then if you want an all-rounder, you've got Vijay Shankar. You've got Kuldeep Yadav and where is Chahal? Yeah, he's right there. So these are the 2 spinners. But the call is between Mohammad Shami and, who are you going to pick? Who are you going to pick with Bumrah? So 2 spinners, as I see, Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav, and you've got Bumrah third.
Yeah.
The other 2 bowlers, whether it's spinners, whether it's fast bowlers, who you pick actually determines what kind of side that you're going to play. Because when you don't have enough batting with these 5 bowlers, then you somehow start feeling that, our batting is too short. Then you end up playing a bowler who's who's good enough as a batsman, but not good enough as a bowler.
10. Okay, so now I have a question. This may seem a little outlandish, but here's my question. So KL Rahul has been in good nick in these 2 games against Australia. You're not going to break up Rohit and Shikhar for the ODI series. Ravi Shastri has said Virat could look at playing at 4. Would you then do open with Shikhar Rohit, KL at 3, Virat at 4?
See, I think I feel you should do whatever you need to do to win these matches. So, for example, I would definitely look at that. I'd look at playing Rahul, who's a batsman in form. I'd look at opening with our best opening combination. I'd look at going with Virat. I would look at playing Ravindra Jadeja. And here's my logic for it. Because my logic for it is that anyway, Vijay Shankar is not probably my number 1 seam option in England. It's probably going to be Hardik Pandya.
Yeah.
So what my point is that if you need a guy to help you win an ODI match in India at this point in time, I think Ravindra Jadeja is a pretty smart customer. He and Kedar Jadhav just give you that sort of option in the middle. Then you have 2 other spinners. Then, you put Bumrah and pick Bumrah and any one fast bowler, Shami, and you've got 6 bowlers who you can really do something potent with. So that's my point, that I think you should pick to win these matches. I think momentum is more important than experimentation now. These are the last 5 matches. That's my belief anyway.
I'm with you. Especially when he says Jadeja should play.
Yeah, of course.
These Jadeja.
I mean, Jadeja, the bowler, he's been a test number 1 bowler in the world. Yeah. So it's like you're not, that's your 10 over bowler. I mean, he's a proper bowler.
And he knows how to win. He knows how to win. There are players, he knows how to adapt himself to a situation. You see the way he's been used by every captain, from an IPL captain to his national captain. They bat him at 4, they can bat him at 6, 7, 8. He'll come and he'll slot. He can restrictively bowl for you in a test match. He can attack in a test match depending on the condition. He's a guy who knows how to win. And I believe players like that are important.
Are you okay with that? The top 4 that I suggested, KL at 3 and Virat at 4?
I'm one who certainly believes that KL should open whenever he plays. And I gave you the reason the other day, I'll repeat it, because he is one who likes to start an innings, the pace of the innings. He's comfortable doing that. It's not the format. A lot of people feel that it's the format in one day or test matches he gets bogged down. But when he starts an inning, the flow of the game, he's much comfortable. When he comes in the middle of the innings, whether it's a 3 or 4 or 5, you might bat at 3, but you come in at over number 16. The game is different. the game when the field is in, you need to strike one ball out of an over to get 6 and over.
Yeah.
When the field is open, then it's not about how many you strike, it's how often you rotate the strike, and that's not his strength. We've seen that in the last 2 games as well. When he's got set, everything's working for him, he's still kept going. So it's not that he rotates and he waits for the ball. He blocks, or he has a flow which has a beautiful flow. He's blessed to have that timing. So my feeling is that when KL plays, he should open the innings. If somebody else can adjust, that would be nice. But at the moment, it's not the case. Rohit and Shikhar are people that at least our team believes that they should open. But if I had a choice, I would only open with KL.
So would you'd break up Shikhar and Rohit?
I'm not a very big fan of just for the sake of having left and right. I'm a fan of having your best players that you can have, and different conditions need different players. So if you ask me, I'd go with Rohit and KL.
One last word on Rishabh Pant, and of course we'll talk about it when we meet on the 2nd as well. But Rishabh Pant, so obviously out of the ODI team, in the ODI team, wicketkeeper for the future, not travelling with the team. I'm very confused. I can't even imagine how confused Rishabh Pant is. I hope someone's talking to him about it. But do you see him starting in this series? Do you see him in the 11?
See, I think if India is trying to sort this question of who should be in the 15, then Rishabh Pant has to be in the 11 for at least 3 matches.
Yeah.
You have to give him a chance because he's definitely in that probable list. On the other hand, it's a question of whose position does he take at this point in time, and I think Dhoni will play through, so he is going to play as a batsman.
At 5?
Yeah, in which case, where does Kedar Jadhav play? If
6.
you don't play a Kedar Jadhav, then you don't have that 6th bowler. So I don't think that's the problem for Rishabh Pant is you cannot experiment with both a Rahul and a Rishabh Pant. Both of them are not going to be able to play together. Not in the kind of lineup that we have right now.
Interesting.
And if Rahul's going to play in the middle order, I'd much rather play Pant and leave Rahul out, because he'd probably set in, or if he fits in, he'll fit in better in the middle order. And he needs to realize that he cannot play at 200 strike rate every game. He doesn't have to go far. He has to look left or right with MS Dhoni on one side, and you've got Virat Kohli at the other side. He's batting between both of them.
Yeah.
They do play at 200 strike rate sometimes, but not always. So he can learn from them, and it's a learning curve. And I'm with him that only one of them can play. And if it is at 3, it would be, or 4, or whatever number. If Virat is ready to go at 4, and so then put Pant at 3, give him that whole
license, go for it.
No, whole mindset would change, because when you bat at 3, 1, 2, 3 is you have time to, you take your time, you settle, or you build your innings. You just don't go with the strike rate. You decide how you're going to play the whole game, and he's capable of doing that. He's done it for all the teams that he's played, even for India A. So he's not just a slugger, and I don't think he's a lottery. He's a much better player. He would have been fortunate if he wasn't keeping wickets. If he wasn't a wicket keeper, maybe people would have looked at him differently, and he would also look at himself totally differently.
Interesting. Somebody steal his wicket-keeping gloves right now. Take him away. There's another one in the mix here. Some more for you to think about. Let's give you the Australia 15. Let's have a look at that as well. There's new news there that Kane Richardson, in fact, who was the top wicket taker in the Big Bash League, has been injured. So he's been replaced by Andrew Tye, who, I don't know, Joy, I mean, he's a wily customer when it comes to T20s, because he's got like 63 variations that he bowls. But is that applicable for ODIs as well?
I really don't think he's in their first 11 options. If you look at that bowling, you could see a lot more of Nathan Lyon bowling. Nathan Lyon should come into the team.
You think Lyon and Zampa would bowl at Hyderabad, right?
I think Lyon and Zampa would bowl. I think Cummins, because he can bat as well, and Coulter and Bendorf are their earlier options. I think Tye is right now a backup option for them. He's definitely not their first 11 option. Otherwise, as I said, this side looks set. I think it's still short of genuine batting match winners other than Finch and Maxwell. But look, that's the limitation of the size they have. They've picked their best side, and obviously they're hoping these are the guys who will deliver them.
I mean, they'd probably play Alex Carey. I don't see Hanscom. I don't know, I'll have to look back, but I don't remember if Hanscom was the ODI keeper. I mean, it was Alex Carey who was the keeper, right? Hanscom, of course, has done a lot of T20 keeping and etc. But so that comes in. He's a good Usman Khwaja. Yeah, I mean, century against Sri Lanka as well, coming to some form at the end of the Australian summer. I'm a big fan of Usman Khwaja's batting. I guess just fluid left-hander. So would you see that happening then at the top? Would you see perhaps a Khwaja coming in at 3 and a Darcy shot still opening?
I feel what will happen, because you're changing the format, so Finch goes to open.
Yeah.
So
we should put the squad up again while Ajay's saying that. Sorry.
So what Stoinis comes back.
Yeah.
So you got 2 openers up there. Then Khwaja or Sean Marsh, because both of them have had a good run. Because it's a longer version of the game. You need people like that to hold the innings together. And they have enough firepower at the end, because with Maxwell, you can send him up or down the order. Stoinis, Maxwell to follow. So 6 there, and then the 5 bowlers. I'm with Joy, because 2 spinners and the 3 seamers. If you play that side with Hanscom keeping. So if Hanscom's playing, then what happens? Then
I don't think Hanscom will play though.
So I'm saying, so you'll have to leave either Sean Marsh or Khwaja out.
And Sean Marsh is in great form.
Yeah.
He's been in great form, so you don't leave him out.
Yeah. So
Khwaja is a solid batter. I don't think
Hanscom
Hanscom makes it. I don't think Hanscom makes it to the ODI.
So who keeps wickets?
Batting lineup. Alex Carey does then.
Okay, then what happens to Darcy Short? He's had 2 good innings. He got run out in 1 game.
Darcy Short's had a tough time anyway getting into the ODI squad or cementing a position there.
But with this win, you want to carry on. I mean, you want to carry on as many people into the first one-day international from this format. Or because you won 2 games. See, don't forget, we're not talking about Indian team where we're not worried about winning or losing. The state of mind that Australians have gone through in the last 2 years is totally different.
Yeah.
So if they make too many changes, I'd be surprised, but you never know, because they've had coaches in the past that surprised you as well. So
yeah, so basically the problem is that Australia has no keepers and India has a lot of keepers.
Right? We can lend them one.
I think they should trade,
We'll give. But we used to do that in gully cricket, right? Our guy will be your wicket keeper, your guy can be umpire. But the bat is mine, so I will bat twice.
Or when I get out, match is over.
Match is over, I'm going to go.